What's going on, everybody? And welcome to episode 41 of the HiBruiNation podcast, the unofficial home of your Boston Bruins. I'm Goosey, one of your hosts here, and I am joined by one of my new co-hosts in Steve, the Chavo. And we're going to talk to you guys about some Bruins hockey. We are in an off-season period, but tonight we have for you some early preseason thoughts, and like by preseason, not just necessarily the games, but the schedule was released, so we'll kind of go over that. We're gonna build a Bruin, and then some potential breakout players and a couple other thoughts. Final off-season grades. So stick around. We got a good show for you guys. Without further ado, Steve, how are we doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I miss hockey. You know what I mean? I want the NHL to start up. I'm glad the schedule was released so we can kind of take a look at it and kind of you ever look at a football season and then you're just kind of like, I kind of expect that to be a loss. That should be a win.
Oh yeah.
Some things right? You can, yeah. So like some things like you just kind of look at and you're like, okay. Although the NHL, I'd like to think is not as predictable, as maybe football is, because schedule, but you can get an idea of where the Bruins are going to be. In the meantime, though, did I tell you I was I signed up for a beer league.
Oh, hell yeah.
I fucking suck.
That's okay. It's a beer league,
dude.
Most of the guys there suck too.
No, you should, dude. Some of these guys, man, they're fucking good, buddy. Like, I don't know. There's a guy on our team that's freaking nasty. He's got good hands. And he's pretty quick. But I mean, I haven't played an actual hockey game in like 22 years. So like I'm out there like some freaking schmuck, out of breath after taking 2 strides, and I can't pass the puck. I can't control the puck, and it's just awful.
It's okay. And you know what? The best thing about hitting rock bottom, you can go up from there. Kind of like the Bruins season right now.
Can they?
I mean, listen, in a few years, right? I mean, in a few years, it might take some time than anybody wants, but time heals all wounds.
I don't know if they've necessarily hit rock bottom yet. I mean, they drafted 7th overall. After projected being they were supposed to draft 5th, but bottom of the barrel would be considered the 1st overall pick, I suppose. Well, I guess if you look at New York, they jumped up a significant number of spots, so it's not like, I guess it's not a good measure.
I don't think the draft order is necessarily a good measure of how the team did, right? I mean, yes, the top 3 get X amount of balls to come out in the lottery. If you want to look at a team stands, you got to look at the standings, right? Like, how did we finish the year? How did the other teams finish the year? What was our record? What was our overall standings in the NHL, in the division, in the conference, right? You got to look at all these things. And I mean, this Bruins season's past season it's been pretty close to rock bottom, and I suspect we will hit rock bottom this upcoming season. And that's okay, because we've had it good for a long time, but the Bruins fans, I expect better, especially out of upper management, out of, Cam and Don. These guys just got extensions, right? Like, we're probably jumping into this.
Don's on a short leash.
He's on a short leash, and we know that. And personally, I don't think he should have gotten an extension. I don't think any real Bruins fan, looking at, pre-draft or pre-extension said, hey, let's keep this guy around. And then I think every fan is looking at Don Sweeney's extension being like, we really extended him. And then he does what he does in the offseason. And it's like, we really extended this guy? Wow. So it's just one of those things where as things progress into the summer, into the preseason, into the regular season, it's like, that it keeps dipping down real low, and my hope is kind of crushed. I'm not gonna lie.
I used to say it like with him, I'm just like, you just want to blame him, and then sometimes he'll just go make an extraordinary signing, and you're just like, fuck, I hate the fact that that was good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just
yes.
times, like, it's just like, and he'll make a good trade at the deadline. Like, over the past, like, for the past 10 years that he's been GM, he has done that. His drafting could have been better, sure. Like, people can argue that, but like his deals and his signings, it's like getting people on the cheap. Like, it's really difficult. Just looking for someone to blame it on, and it's easy.
Well, blame starts somewhere, right? Who's in charge of, right? Like, who's in charge of the operations as it is, right? The players have their roles, the coaches have their roles, the GM has their role, the president of hockey has their role. When I kind of look at this like a symphony, right? The conductor is the GM, right? Yes, the coach might have a little bit more sway into it, whatever. But at the end of the day, the GM is responsible for creating those contracts, bringing in the coaches, bringing in the players. The coach's job is to play the players and put them on lines and not jumble them up and see what works, see what definitely doesn't work, and in those things. But at the end of the day, when we're talking dollar figures, getting people here, getting people to play for us, that's on the GM. And I believe in giving credit where credit's due. In some of my group chats, with my friends, we call Don Sweeney Trader Don, because it's like he, not traitor, but trader, but he makes phenomenal.
That's how he's brought in the talent.
Yeah,
that's how he built the 2022-2023 team. He didn't draft that team. He built that team from free agency and trades.
And particularly TDL, trade deadlines, like his trades around that time are really good. And I'll give credit where credit's due. But if we're not drafting people to replace those said players, like a Bergeron, a Marchand, those again, those are just examples. But at the end of the day, it's like we need people to come in and step and fill in those shoes and really keep it going.
Right.
And he's just kind of not really done what we kind of need him to do necessarily. You can't just keep trading away guys and bringing guys in by trades, right? Like, that's not how you build a.
Well, yeah, because then eventually you run out of assets, right? Like, eventually you just run out of things that you lose leverage at some point, right?
Exactly.
So and that's obviously playing devil's advocate, right? Like, and also, like, this year's free agent class was crap.
Yeah, I agree.
After Ehlers, which Ehlers wanted to go to a contender, he supposedly only wanted to go to Carolina. So he went to Carolina, and then you just look at, like, the next best available was Michael Granlund. Not great, like, honestly. And a guy at his age, he probably wants to compete too. And Boston right now is not that destination. So do I necessarily blame Sweeney? And, like, we'll take a look at it, and because I believe this is tangential, where we can discuss, like, our season outlook, like, just early predictions, which is based upon the offseason, and also give our offseason, like, our final offseason grades and thoughts now that we've actually had a month to kind of, like, let it settle and really think it over. I don't want to 100% fault Sweeney for not bringing in bigger, better talent, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say that he got normally he gets a B to a B plus on average, I would say, for his off seasons. This year I'm giving him a C. Like, I don't know if that's generous, but I just don't think he did enough except add bottom sixers. And yeah, he got you some depth defensemen in Jordan Harris and Soderstrom. They're young. They could become better, but you and I last episode we talked about it with Tanner Jeannot. I don't know what that was. AC Mont, okay.
Yeah, I don't
Corrali,
think
fine.
Corrali's fine. He's
the only
back.
one. Yeah, but Corrali and AC Mont, like, real quick, and this is the problem. Like, I think Jeannot was the only reason why it's a C and not a C plus, or even a B minus, is because 5 years, 3.4, dude. Like, I just didn't see the point of that. All that's doing is going to hinder, like, Marat Husnudinov. It's going to hinder Patra. It's going to hinder Lysell. It's going to hinder Beecher. Because I'm like, you're going to tell me that those guys are going to outplay Corrali? They're going to outplay AC Mont? Even Jeannot. Like, they are NHL players, even though they're bottom sixers, but they're NHL players.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was that specifically, if we're talking about Tanner Jeannot, it's an overreach both on the money and on the years. I mean, sure, if you wanted to get a tough dude in here for a couple years, get some protection around, Matty Poitras, Pasta.
That's got to be what it is.
It has to be what it is. But again, you can't overextend yourself on the years and on the dollar figure. I mean, to be honest with you, like your grade, I think it seems fair. But I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna be nice and give him a D. Like,
okay,
we had $13 million in cap space. Okay.
yeah.
We already established that this free agency wasn't the best, right? Well, you look at next year's free agency and you just say, holy shit, there's a lot of talent out there. Okay.
Most of which, by the way, next year, I believe most of that's not going to hit free agency. I don't think.
And do you blame any of those teams for not wanting to have those go to free agency? Not at all. But when you look at it, right, it's still there. It's still an option. You can come in with a good offer when you have the money. But when you tie up all your money, again, I forget what the projection is for next year with all the free agency in the cap space, but like you had $13 million this year. You would have had way more next year with plus, let's just call it 6, and you had 7. Let's just say we spent 6 this year and you had 7 left over, right? You could have done some more stuff with that to actually not necessarily rebuild your team, but bring in the pieces that you need. Which, I mean, at the point of last season, you didn't really need that much, in my opinion. You needed a couple of really, key position players, right? If you added a couple of pieces, you could have done better at the end of the day. But
here's this for you, because you asked me about the cap projection. So next year we're projected to have 19 million in cap with the people we would need to sign. Victor Arvidsson, who's going to be a UFA. It's going to depend. He's a shooter. He's a scorer. He can do it. Like, he's a middle sixer. But I think the second line is a stretch for him. But I think he'll be there. And then you got to re-sign Johnny Beecher, Matty Poitras. I believe Fabian Lysell is up as well. But because he hasn't really played anything in the NHL, you're going to get him on a cheap deal. But you really don't have any expensive names next year. Andrew Peake's going to go ask for a raise, but it's going to be maybe $4 million, maybe. And then Jordan Harris.
Yeah, I mean, again,
but nothing that screams big money. So it's exactly. Like, this is another rebuild year.
Yeah,
and hopefully James Higgins is ready either like next season.
We'll see. And you know what though? I don't want to rush that kid either.
Nope.
The thing is, you don't want to rush these guys into the league to just be in over their head. You don't want that. I want that kid to develop a little bit. I want him to be ready, and I want him to go into a line, that's ready for him. I want him to go to a team that's ready for him, that he's going to be a piece that actually makes it all start clicking together, right? Like, those are the things to like look out for. But at the end of the day, I don't think this was the year to make any moves. And I genuinely feel like this was the year that I feel like Don Sweeney needed to make moves to try to cover his ass a little bit.
They filled the roster. I think that's what it just was. It was just filling the roster moves. It wasn't even moves to be contenders, because this team is not a contending team.
And you know what? This is a couple points I wanted to bring up too. So at the end of the year press conference, you had Don Sweeney and Cam Neely sit up there in front of the media, get asked all these questions, right?
Yep. Well, that's what they typically call a conference, Steve. Yeah, that's typically how that works.
I'm talking about these two specific guys here, right?
Yep.
And what they said.
Two faces of the organization. Sure, they're sitting there.
Yep. And these guys, to put it lightly, is they're on two opposite ends of the fence with what their ideas for this next season is. In lesser words, without saying rebuild, Don Sweeney said, hey, we're pretty much going to be rebuilding. To which point Cam Neely came in and interrupted Don Sweeney and was like, no, we're going to be cup contenders. And, okay, looking back at the end of year press conference, okay, you had some sort of offseason to look forward to. You had some sort of, free agency and, seeing what could happen through that or trades or whatever, right? Things can happen, but the past is the past. And now we're looking at the spot we're in. Okay. I think Sweeney was being honest with the fans and being honest with everybody, saying, hey, this year is going to be rough. We're going to be in a rebuild. And then I think Cam tried to save the face with the organization because the Boston Bruins don't do rebuilds. We do retoolings. And it's like, no, that only works for so long. And to be quite frank, just don't lie to us. If it's going to be a shit year, just say, hey, next season, it's going to be a rough year, but we expect to be cup contenders in 5 years. Like, you can't sit there and lie to the fans because we see through it.
We could be sooner, I will say, because with the youth of the defense and with some other pieces that are already present, so like it depends on how they draft. So if they actually become a lottery pick next year, again, if that person is NHL ready, and next year's NHL draft is really, really deep.
Yep.
And like if they can get the talent in the offseason too, I'm not saying we're going to be the clear cut favorite, but you could be back into the playoffs.
Yep.
And like, but then once you're in the playoffs, anything can really happen. Like, but your path to the cup definitely can be difficult in that regard.
I think the path to the cup, regardless, for all the NHL teams, is difficult. There's a reason why it's the hardest professional sports championship to win.
Got to potentially win 4 game 7s, right? Potentially.
Potentially. I mean, you need 16 wins to lift
16 wins, but that's just wins.
Up, right? And that's just if you make the playoffs, right? Yeah. It's an uphill battle, right? I mean,
but sorry, Steve, think of it this way. You need 16 wins.
Yeah.
No one talks about the total games played that could potentially be.
Yeah.
The maximum amount of games that you could play in the playoffs in a 7-game, like if you went 4 rounds, 7 games each, what's 4 times 7? 28?
Yep.
You're talking 28 games.
And you need 16 of those to keep going.
Yeah. And you need and that's rigorous hockey.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, the regular season's rigorous. You got 82 games and you're flying around.
Soon to be 84, by the way, with the CBA. Did you see that?
Sure, I did see that, which is kind of crazy, but okay, more hockey. Whatever. I like it.
Sure.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I am worried about the health of the players if they keep extending it, right? I mean,
they're taking away 2 preseason games.
Yeah, but also, let's just put this example out there. Those playoff cusp teams towards the last 6 weeks, last 4 weeks of the season, they're playing hard. Every team of those is playing hard.
Yeah, so they're playing playoff hockey.
They're playing playoff hockey 6 weeks prior to the playoffs actually starting, right?
Yep.
And they're hitting harder, they're skating harder, right? It's just those things that add up, and it's hockey, right? It's not like football, very physically contacted game, but you have 17 games now. Okay. Now you're going, imagine doing that 82 times flying around. Not every game is going to be one of those games where you're just putting bodies into the glass and everyone's just fighting and all these things. It's just the statistics of it. It's just not going to happen. But at the end of the day, you're still running around for 82 games, soon to be 84, and you're playing physical hockey. And that wears and tears people down. I mean, 2013 Cup, Bergeron, punctured lung, broken rib, playing how many games with that? Zdeno Chara.
I think that was 2019.
Was it 2019? I thought
because Zdeno Chara had a broken jaw in 2019, I believe. Bergeron
no, I was going to say with his knee, his like knee with like the 10% attached to it. I'm pretty sure that was 2013. But either way, the amount of injuries that these guys sustained in the last 2 months of the season in the playoffs is crazy to me. But again,
and they're playing through it.
And they're playing through it, which is, obviously a, strength of character to them, and how bad they want to win and how bad they want to compete. And I'm not taking anything away from these guys, but at the end of the day, you're playing these physical games. And if you're on that cusp, you're playing even harder because you want to go, right? I mean, you want to go. You don't want to miss the playoffs. Nobody does.
No.
Because especially when you're a cusp team, what you're going to get, pick 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Yep.
right? Like, well, I mean, it's not worth it at that point. You'd rather go contend for a cup because anything could happen in a series.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in a game.
But but like you said, we're going to be a couple of years out of that. We could expedite it. But this year is going to be bad. I think we should Bruins fans should temper expectations. And I think Bruins fans even aware of it. Like, do I give Don Sweeney credit for being the reality and being like, no, we're going to be maybe like
a wild card team.
12. Yeah, we're not going to be great. And if we make the playoffs, it'll be a dogfight. And I think what Cam Neely was trying to do was try and save face because the Boston Bruins are the second highest in terms of ticket prices.
Of course.
That is nuts.
It is nuts.
And
it is nuts.
So now, mind you, this is 1 year, right? We had 1 year where we were out of the playoffs. We're likely going to have another year where we're out of the playoffs. Do the Jacobs still continue that trend of how can you justify being that? Because if I'm going to pay $200 to go see just David Pastrnak score 100 points, I'm not going to go to a game. I'll sit on my couch.
Yeah.
Until someone gifts me a ticket. You know what I mean? Am I going to be excited to go see the likes of Casey Middlestat and Elias Lindholm? No, you want to see superstar power, right? That's why Toronto was able to charge so much for their tickets is because they had the Marners, the Matthews, the Nyes, the Nylanders. And they had these high-powered players. But
let me throw a hypothetical out there. What if Pasta throws a trade out there? It demand that he wants to be traded. Then what are the
fans? Throws a wrench.
Doesn't that throw a wrench? Well, why would David Pastrnak, a guy who clearly wants to win a Stanley Cup, want to be on a team that isn't even contending for a few years and use up his prime? To me, it's like we're wasting his talent specifically. But again,
I don't think so. Not yet.
Okay, I'll concede that point. But at what point does it become that? And that's I guess hypothetical, right? And also, why would you only want to go see David Pastrnak? I'm not taking anything away from David Pastrnak. What he does on the ice is fantastic. Obviously, clearly he's sports, back in the day, Sports Center, top 10, all these things, right? What he does is beautiful out there. But if that's all what they're offering for the entertainment value for your price per ticket,
can you just give me a fucking free beer while you're at you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. At what point do the Bruins fans say, I'm not spending that amount of money to go watch my team lose? And why do I want to go spend what I haven't been in the Garden in a couple of years. What's the beer price for?
I don't know. You want to know what? I could probably say around $15
for 16 ounces, 14 ounces, whatever.
Probably
right?
16 ounces.
So you're gonna spend, you're gonna spend $100, $110 to be in the nosebleeds with your back against the wall. Okay, fair enough. Let's just say 110 plus. I'm going to drink probably 2-3 beers during the game. That's $45.
Maybe 4. Depends on how bad they're losing.
It depends. Yeah, exactly.
It's just going to be maybe 4. Keep adding that number up, buddy. It's good. Buckle up, buddy.
I mean, what? You're going to spend $200 to go sit in the nosebleeds with your back against the wall and barely see even the puck. You're going to have to watch the Jumbotron and just say that you were there.
Yeah, but buddy, that back support.
Hey, listen, nothing like cold concrete. At the end of the day, it's just, at what point did Bruins fans just be like, hey, I don't want to waste my hard-earned dollars on this. This is not what the Bruins fans expect. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we have been very fortunate and very lucky. But at the same time, Boston's a very demanding place to play for good reason. And at what point do we say enough is enough? Well, I'm not going to spend money on that.
And look, we're not saying that. I'm ride or die Boston Bruins fan, right? I'm just trying to temper my own expectations in seeing that. But also, I looked at the schedule. We might not be as bad as some people predicted. You know what I mean? So it's kind of I don't think we're going to be a playoff team, and if we are, it would be through the wild card. But I don't think we're going to be bottom 5. You know what I mean? It just in terms of record, not where we're going to fall in terms of the lottery, because if you're not in the playoffs, you're automatically a lottery team. But I don't maybe we'll finish 12th worst and then with a hope move into the top 10 in terms of draft. So who knows? And we also have Toronto's pick. So I mean, like, I'm fine with the Bruins not having a good year, because the worse we are, the better chance we have of snagging McKenna, and we do need a left wing. So
all valid points. And if this is the year to quote unquote tank, this would probably be it.
I do it.
I mean? But
have you read up on that kid? He's getting comps to McDavid and Crosby.
Yep.
That's no joke. Like, if every scout or a majority of scouts are saying that, that's a head turner. Like, that's not a joke, dude. Like, Crosby and McDavid are two obviously generational talents.
I mean, you're crazy. If you ask any fan, hey, do you want Crosby on your team? Prime Crosby on your team? Do you want prime Connor McDavid on your team?
I'll take both for a Subway sandwich if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, you're a damn fool if you say no. And I don't mind combating any of those thoughts. If you sit there to an actual hockey fan who knows the game and they say that they don't want Sidney Crosby or McDavid on their team, you're out of your tree, and you should probably seek medical attention, because that just doesn't make any damn sense.
Dude, it goes for anybody. Lemieux, Howe, Gretzky, like Yager, like any of these players in their prime that changed, like Bobby Orr, like, any of these players that had like great careers and were clear cut, like, Hall of Famers, like Mark Messier, like, the list goes on and on and on and on, right?
Cup winners,
just like
cup winners,
like just people who changed the game. And look, the Bruins could surprise you, like maybe with a year or a full development camp for Marat, maybe a full development camp for Lysell, maybe since he scored that first goal, Lysell starts to pick it up. I don't know. Matty Poitras has been killing it down the AHL, so maybe he takes that next step forward. You never know who could show up and like maybe they surprise you. Does that mean I want the team in the playoffs just to be outed in the first round? No, I'd rather have it be a lottery pick and then bolster back the farm system.
Yep.
Because if you look at teams like Toronto, and I joke when I say Toronto's going to be a first round exit, but when you look at teams like Toronto, what other teams are doing, and even look at what Florida did, they managed to maintain Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad. Holy shit. And how Bill Zito hasn't won the GM of the Year award for the past 5 billion years, I don't even know how to tell you. But then if you look at what they're doing, then how Toronto's adding size, they're adding good depth. They're building that team. Montreal is up and coming, and they're going to be better. It's not going to get easy for you. It's going to get just as harder.
It's probably going to be way harder if I'm being honest, because
especially with the Bruins playing in the toughest division, I think, in hockey, in the Atlantic. Minus Buffalo, because those guys suck. They suck.
Yeah,
Pegula should be launched into the sun, but that's a point for another day.
I think overall, with what teams are in the Atlantic, it's hard not to say that division isn't the toughest to play in. I mean, to your point about Toronto adding size and all these things, it's like, hey, the GMs are kind of finally catching on to how the hell do you beat the Florida Panthers? Right?
Nice.
I mean, you got to look at what the Panthers have done and how they've been so successful.
Either that, or you hope Paul Maurice has a heart attack or something and can't coach anymore, because that guy's a phenomenal coach. Now, I don't wish that upon Paul.
Of course.
Speaking of course, you just something that prevents him from coaching, right? For that year, and the players just fall apart without him. That man is a phenomenal coach. Him, John Cooper, two of the best coaches right now in the league, and it's not even close in my opinion.
It's not, but at the same time, coaches coach, and the players go out there and play. What do the Florida Panthers have? They got the speed, they've got the talent, they've got the size. How are you going to beat them? You need to have speed. You need to have talent. You need to have size.
You also need to beat them.
You need to beat them.
Beat the fuck out of them. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. But good luck if you are an undersized team like, I don't know,
Detroit.
Ottawa
to an extent, I guess. I would consider Ottawa not the biggest.
They're not the biggest, but they have the talent and they got the speed. It's just they get in again. It's that whole. I hate to bring this up, but the whole Torrey Krug thing. Torrey Krug, phenomenal in the regular season, and then once the playoffs kick in, his size kind of really shows, and he's getting outbodied, and he's kind of the bigger guys are taking more
Yeah,
advantage.
but if you go back to 2019, Torrey Krug was laying hits. I mean, he was
Of
small,
course
but
he was.
but the difference was he had to launch his body. But I see your point. He's still smaller, so there's a way he needed to compensate for that. But not every little player is going to be able to do what Torrey Krug did.
Of course, and to be honest with you, yes, Torrey Krug was hitting and making big hits and making big plays, but if you watched him in the corners, he was getting beat a lot. He was causing odd man shifts in their defense.
Well, he's not a defensive defenseman. He's a puck mover. Same thing with Grizzly. You'll run into those
again.
issues.
You in the playoffs, you don't want to sacrifice, odd man shifts in front of the net because your defenseman lost the puck behind the net.
Yep.
That's just kind of how I think of it. But at the same time, those guys, it's not to discredit Torrey Krug. I think he's a great player. It's just kind of what I've seen over the past 10 years of just watching, smaller guys go up against bigger guys, especially in the corners as defensemen. It's just,
thank God we have Tanner Janelle.
Yeah, thank God.
He's going to score 1 goal, but he's going to get 55 penalty minutes in terms of just fights.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
Is that not Boston Bruins hockey?
That is Boston Bruins hockey. That's big bad Bruins hockey.
Let's throw it back to the 70s.
Hey, listen, if we're not going to go anywhere this year, I at least have a fucking boxing match. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least make it entertaining somehow. Like, if we're going to lose, at least lose with, like, in fashion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm fine with that. Listen, this is how it gets difficult for Boston, right? And why, like, you're retooling and everything needs to be done intelligently, because these other teams are getting better. The Leafs will eventually fall down because they've had to expend that going up. Tampa will probably fall down eventually too, but then you got the Ottawas, the Detroits, not the Buffalo Sabres, because like, you know what I mean? I will rag on these people, buddy. I will never stop ragging on the Buffalo Sabres.
I don't blame you.
They are the only team that I think will stay in 8th place next year. I think it's going to be Boston and Detroit fighting for 6th place in the Atlantic.
And I see that. I do, but also I don't know what's going on with Buffalo. And to be honest with you, I really don't care. But look at how many Stanley Cup winners have come from Buffalo as soon as they pretty much left Buffalo.
I would take any fourth liner from Buffalo because they'd probably be a first line forward on any other fucking team. Like,
I mean,
just look at it. What was it? Kyle Okposo, Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart. I don't even think that's it for the list.
That's not it for the list by any means.
Look at Henry Jokiharju. He left Buffalo and he performed better in Boston. There's just something about Buffalo in the past 14 years, and it's the Pagulas, that has caused them pain. But I digress. Like, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's where I have Boston. Like in this season and taking everything into account. Like I'm gonna pull up the schedule.
Let's do it.
And I'm sorry, it's a little blurry, but like, you can just look just in terms of like, looking at the closeness of the games and, and things like that. So there's a reasonable amount of rest. Your March looks compact, but that's because of the Olympics this year.
Of course.
But you're going to get some, I think in February though, that rest is going to be very much needed.
Yeah. Cause like, everyone's going to the Olympics and it works. I mean, but as far as March is going to be a tough month. It's going to be a real tough month. It's very condensed and compacted, but October, November, December, even January looks pretty good. Looks pretty average, right? Enough rest. There's a couple weeks where you get 4 games. Rest look like 3, and that's okay. It's every other day is good. That's how you kind of want it. You need to give these guys a little bit of rest, but at the end of the day, I don't think Buffalo is going to be out of last place. It's the Buffalo Sabres. Let's be honest with ourselves here. And I think Detroit's under the gun as well as the Boston Bruins, where
Steve Yzerman sucks, dude. Holy shit. What is he doing?
That's what's so tough about it, because what he did in Florida was really awesome. What he did in Tampa was really, really, really well structured, and it led to multiple successful runs for them. And even to today, they aren't bad. They still play good hockey. And I just don't know what's going on in Detroit. But to that point, I think Stevie Y is under the gun, and he needs to make some
no
change.
question.
And I think you're going to see some trades out of Detroit this year that might surprise you. I think that he's trying to find the tools to at least try to make a, quote unquote wild card spot, whether it's the second wild card spot or, the first, like whatever it is. But I think that there's more incentive for him to try to get this team back into the playoffs because listen, Detroit.
If Dylan Larkin,
Dylan Larkin, it's the Detroit Red Wings.
Don Sweeney doesn't pull the trigger on Dylan Larkin,
I mean,
I will, or at least kick tires. I will fucking lose my shit.
I mean, yes,
because it was reported.
How can you not?
That Dylan Larkin was extremely dissatisfied.
Yes, he said it, right? I mean, he pretty much came out publicly and said that.
That's all I'm saying. I don't think he's going to get moved. I really don't. But the big but. I'm going to keep saying but if a player like Dylan Larkin, whether it doesn't have to be a player from Detroit, it could be from anyone. If he becomes available, Don Sweeney, pick up the phone. You have 2 first-round picks next year. Don't sell your own. Sell the Toronto one. And not only do you have the first-round pick next year, but you have your own second. You have another pick in 2027. Leverage some stuff that you can if it means getting a player like him, because then you can move Elias Lindholm to the wing.
Yep.
And there's your second-line right winger, because James Higgins is likely going to be your future first-line center. But a guy like this,
he might play a couple years at. He might play half.
That's why I said
third
future,
line, and then a season or two at 2. And you're absolutely right about the future, but you're thinking more longer term than I am. I'm thinking more
baby. Always long term.
Of course. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's kind of, with the Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? But it's not necessarily about that. But you have to kind of see where he grows and what he kind of develops into, and you can't just go put that kid out in the first line.
No, you can't. You got to give him some preseason games, start him out in the third, get him adjusted. Like, he's not a Connor Bedard, he's not a McDavid, he's not a Crosby, so he's not like someone who can do that. No, I agree with you 100%.
And you know what? And I'll put this in there since you brought up Bedard. Hot take. I don't think Bedard should be even the first line. I think that team is kind of just so bad right now where he should have just developed a little bit more and not had as much.
I think that GM is ruining him. Because he's clearly talented. He's got clearly
talented, but they're not using him correctly, and there's too much pressure on that poor kid at 19 years old.
They're ruining him.
It's just you can see the weight of that crumbling him.
They genuinely thought that Tyler Bertuzzi and whoever the fucking other winger is around him, I can't remember it, who's from Carolina.
I'm going to correct you on that because, fun fact, Connor Bedard has played with every single player on that line. The problem with that coaching staff is the fact that every shift Connor Bedard has played with a different person on his line.
Can't build chemistry.
You can't build chemistry that way. And how are you going to expect that kid to do well when he's playing with a different line?
Look what
literally every single shift he plays.
It's the same formula Jim Montgomery had.
Which is not – it's not –
play Rubik's Cube until you find something that works. You can't do that. No.
You can't.
How many times did you see Bergeron and Marchand split up?
Not that many.
Krejci and Nathan Horton. Krejci and Luch.
Not that
How many times?
Not that many.
Not many.
Not many.
You don't. You find you just find it, stick with it, and sometimes you gotta let it grow. You gotta plant the seeds, baby. You gotta let it grow.
Well, also
let me ask you this:
seeds and let it grow, but also, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Let me ask you this: where do you see them honestly with the season? Where do you see them finishing?
7th.
You could even say if you even say within the Atlantic Division, that would be pretty telling.
7th in the Atlantic.
Yeah. Like I said, I have them fighting for 6th with Detroit, but I honestly see them at 7. It would be it would be a miracle for Buffalo if they got 7th instead. What was that?
Just because you're fighting with Detroit doesn't mean you're going to win for that 6th seed.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I think
and Buffalo's fighting with themselves for 8th place, so like
wouldn't it be something if Buffalo actually goes to 7th and the Bruins go to 8th?
I'd be fine with that because I'm closer to McKenna.
Yeah, I mean,
is it going to happen? Probably not.
Probably not. But if it happens, okay, this is the season that it should happen to get McKenna.
Yeah.
But I can honestly
really glad they traded freaking Dylan Cousins for Josh Norris and Docker. And then they didn't even qualify Docker, and then they saw Docker leave, I believe. So yeah, there you go. Like great GM work, Kevin Adams. You fucking schmuck.
Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, 7th in the Atlantic is what I'm projecting them at, and that's not good by any means. And it's very clear that that roster needs work right now. And with them going to 7th place at our projections is even more clear that, hey, something fundamentally needs to shift in Boston.
Oh, and by the way, Bruins fans, the only reason why we bring up the Buffalo Sabres so much is because there are worse GMs than Don Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
We can bitch about him all we want, but if we had Kevin Adams or Steve Yzerman, we'd probably be killing ourselves. Like that they're bad. Like what they're doing to their teams is awful. At least Don Sweeney is doing Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna let it go. I can't.
He gave it the good old college try, I guess.
Yeah, like, at least he's doing something. It may not be something great, but it's better than trading JJ Peterka for basically a third liner. And I'll give him Michael Kesselring. Like I thought that was good. They needed help on the right side, but now you have a huge locker room. Like you know what I mean. And then you trade. What was it? They traded for Detroit traded for Peter Mrazek.
Yeah. Because that's going to solve their issue.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's
great.
Great.
And then they gave Wallman to Edmonton basically for free. Yep. So it's just like, believe me, we could have worse GMs that do exist in the Atlantic. So bear that in mind. But I agree with you, Steve, that it's likely going to be 7th in the Atlantic. And that's fine. Bruins fans, don't get mad. That's fine. We're closer to McKenna. The closer to McKenna we are, the better. I'm all for it. Fuck it. Take it. Burn the building down. I don't give a shit.
I hate the feeling that I'm getting of just like kind of rooting for the tank just to maybe get this player. It's kind of like the double-edged sword where it's like, I want my team to do good. Obviously, I want the Bruins to win a Stanley Cup. But right now, they're not going to contend for a Stanley Cup. So we might as well, if we're going to be this bad, we might as well hope to get that. That's kind of like what I'm clinging my hope onto is like, all right, the worse we are, the better shot we have at getting McKenna. And that's okay because this kid's supposed to be a generational talent and by all definitions. And hopefully we can get him if we're this bad, right? Like, it's not that I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to root against the Bruins all season. Now, I might bet against them.
No, but you're being realistic.
But I'm being realistic with myself and with all of you listening. It's my way of trying to tamper my own expectations so I don't punch a hole in my wall. If I'm being honest.
Well, all right. Why don't we take a quick break and play a game? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to build a Bruin. And basically what Steve and I are going to do is we're going to use a random NHL player generator, and they're going to basically generate random Boston Bruins players. They could either be current, past, present, whatever, not future. I don't think it does that. And we are going to have 5 categories. We are going to have puck control, skating, shooting, passing, and hockey sense. And we're going to do this blindly. So as we generate the player, we're going to have to assign them to one of those 5 categories. Steve, are you ready to play Build a Bruin?
I can't wait. I'm excited.
I was going to say Build a Bear. But I feel like that would have been such a problem. I feel like we would have had like copyright infringement issues. But here we go. But guys, in case you guys are wondering, this is presented by Bondi.com. So definitely, check it out. It's pretty cool. It's very interesting. But anyway, we're gonna get going with the first spin of this wheel, per se, and we're gonna build the players. So let's give it a shot. Let's see who our first player is. Generating Phil Esposito. He was Center? My God, now they're giving me all of his career stats too. So it's kind of cool. It's very fun, guys, because they also give you like the career stats of these players. They just randomly generate them and everything about them, everything you want to know. You can tell this AI to build anything. So it's just a really cool tool. They're not our sponsor or anything like that, but it's just I love sharing cool technology. So Steve, Chief. No, sorry, this isn't Chief. Phil Esposito is not Chief. I'm sorry, it's Espo. Busick. I got him confused with Busick. Where are you putting him? Are you taking his skating, puck control, shooting, hockey sense, or passing?
Can you scroll down to his career stats for me, just real quick?
Sure. Espo had 1,282 games played, 717 goals, 873 assists for a total of 1,590 career points and 100. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Look at those penalty minutes, dude. 1,112 penalty minutes. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I love the career penalty minutes. That's kind of it's getting me excited. You don't last.
It's close.
It's so close. It's so close for me. We don't know what's coming up next. I mean, you kind of almost have to go with passing.
You taking passing?
I'm going to take passing on this one, right?
I'm going to go hockey sense.
It was between passing and hockey sense.
Yeah, I definitely have to go. I have to do it. It's just the points production. And I'm hoping to God that, we get another scorer out here, or if I get Bergeron for passing, I'm going to lose my mind. Like,
you know what?
I will lose my mind. By the way, goalies constitute a respin.
No,
they do.
No, come on.
Unless you want to use them for hockey sense, but that'd be cheating. But all right, so so you have
passing,
I agree, and I have hockey sense.
Let's do it. Yeah, I got hockey sense.
All right.
We're passing on
all
this
right,
one.
So,
or do we have to be unanimous on this?
Nope. We're building our own. And then Chief comes up, Johnny Busick. I say his name, and he shall appear. Oh, man, he was a left wing. He played from 1957 to 1978, 1,540 career games played, 1,509 points, 964 goals, 545. I'm sorry, I messed that up. 964 assists, 545 goals, 2 Stanley Cup champions, and 1981 Hockey Hall of Fame inductee. Passing for me, man. I did.
And you know what? This right here screams hockey sense to me because of the differential between goals and this. Right? I mean, you don't almost double up your assist to goal ratio without any brains, right?
Okay. All right, so wow, you're gonna take hockey sense on that for Chief?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's a bad one. See, here's the thing with Pat. Like when you get Busick and then like an Esposito like first. Oh, it's just hard. Actually, you want to know what? I'm gonna take his shooting. I'm gonna take his shooting.
That's okay. But also, hey, nicknamed the Chief, head honcho. I mean, someone has to know, got some brains, right? I mean, that's just what stands out for me.
All right, third player generating. Oh fuck! You get Brad Marchand. Current NHL stats: 850 plus games played, 350 goals, 450 assists, 800 plus points, 700 plus penalty minutes. He's known as the little pest. Oh my God! And I took shooting for Busick. I took hockey sense for Espo. Oh, that's actually it's not a bad one.
It's not that bad. You know what? Brad Marchand.
I'm going puck control.
I'm going puck control too. I mean,
yeah, you can't not
on that one.
Like I feel like that to me is just it's too easy.
It is too easy.
Like he just the way he uses his hips and the way he can twist and turn and be one of the best puck carriers, one of the best puck retrievers in the NHL, even at his current age. It's just something to marvel. So I'm glad you and I both agree that it's got to be puck control.
It has to be.
Oh God! All right, player 4. All right, well, we got Busick again, so that does not count.
Yeah.
Okay, we got him a third time.
That's kind of crazy. And
clearly they just don't like us. A fourth time for Johnny Busick. That's interesting. All right, well, if we keep getting them, then we're just going to have to. Okay, we got Brad Marchand again.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So I guess we're going to roll with the punches, Steve. I'm going to do one more and see if we can generate a different player. All right, so we got the Chief again. For whatever reason, it loves to give us this. So, all right, let's see. You got Busick. What are you taking for him? Here, are you going to take his skating, or are you going to take his shooting? For me, it's passing or skating.
That's so difficult, especially since we already chose him, and I feel really strongly about my decision to put him for Hockey Sense. If I have to take it, you know what's crazy to me, just a little sidebar, is the fact that we have so many great Boston Bruins and they've given us the same 3 guys. It's just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's just it feels off to me. But hey, I didn't make this, so it is what it is.
So what are you taking?
That's so difficult. I'll do skating. I'll do skating for that.
All right.
Because I'm hoping and praying that we get someone else for shooting. For me, to be honest with you,
I'm gonna do Busick for passing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which means for the final one, you're gonna have for shooting, and I'm gonna have for skating. So let's see. All right. Well, for whatever reason, Brad Marchand was selected again. This is weird. Like, I've never seen it happen. Like, I've stress tested this, and it's gone through like a lot. Like, I've gotten like Rick Middleton. I've gotten like Bobby Orr. It's just interesting. Wow, it's crazy. Well, I guess
crazy.
they just wanted us to have Brad Marchand and Busick. That's crazy. Out of all the Bruins players, this is what we have.
Great Bruins players. Out of all the great Bruins players, they gave us the same 3. Which, hey, clearly, it means something, right?
Right.
It clearly means something, but it's okay.
So
maybe later on in the season we'll do this again, and we'll get.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love this kind of random stuff. Like, it looks great because it's like blind everything. I'm a little disappointed that it didn't give us more than what we would have. But like, all right, the final results, they are in, and fans let us know who has the better player. Skating. I'm sorry. We'll start with Steve. Steve for skating has Busick, puck control, Marchand, shooting, Marchand, hockey sense, Busick, passing, Esposito. For myself, for skating, I have Marchand, puck control, Marchand, shooting, Busick, hockey sense, Esposito, and passing, Busick. Let us know who won or what you would have done in that sense. I mean, considering multiple are duplicates, so I mean, I don't know. Like, you're really arguing over like how would you?
Yeah, considering everyone listening, consider the fact that we got 3 players to choose from. I don't think it's very.
Yeah.
I don't think this is very.
Take it easy on us.
Take it easy on us.
Yeah, we're working out the kinks. We had some technical difficulties. Dude, that wasn't bad. Yeah, I wanted to call the segment "Build the Bear," but I was just like, that's gonna get me in some really hot
it's gonna get taken down. Don't do it.
I'm gonna get an email from like the fucking bear who runs Build the Bear, dude, and they're gonna be like, we're coming to your house, and I'm gonna be like, oh, okay. sick.
Does that
And now
mean,
back to
does
your
that,
regularly scheduled program.
does that mean, if they come and send a bear to our house, is that like Ted? Does it talk? Does it walk? Does it come complete? I
Don't
don't
do
know.
that to me. I'm a
I don't know.
Bostonian, really.
Yeah.
Gonna get my hopes up like that?
Oh
They
yeah.
can keep They can keep Mark Wahlberg though.
Oh,
They can
yeah.
keep Mark Wahlberg. I'll take Ted, but they can keep Mark Wahlberg. You heard me,
Agreed.
Mark. You fake ass Bostonian.
Oh god.
Didn't even care. Loser. Bum. All right. Two final things for you guys tonight for the Bruins fans listening in. We're gonna just discuss some of our roster predictions and what we think the roster is gonna, or what the lines are gonna be this year, and then we're gonna just give our prediction on a potential breakout player who we think might finally, break the ice. No pun intended. But you'll probably agree with me with this, Steve, for the most of this anyway. But like for the roster, the first line, we'll start with the forwards, and the first line being, Geeks, Lindholm and Pasta. What else are you gonna do?
I was just about to say, what other options do we have? I mean,
you could put Zaka on the left wing if you really wanted a true left winger, but honestly, I'm keeping Geeky there because I think Zaka he needs to show you something, and he needs to show that he can do it without Pasternak, him above all people.
Yeah, but also I do like the Geeky Pasta connection. I do like that.
I do. They're adorable.
Again, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it, and I don't think that's broke.
Yep. And even at the end, towards the end of the season, Lindholm started to really come into his own, bro. Like, I thought Lindholm played well at the end of the latter half of the season. So, like, hopefully he finds his groove again.
I'm going to agree with that. I mean, I think that line, I feel like there's a lot of hope resting on that line. As Bruins fans, that's going to be your major producers out there. And when they're all healthy and when they're all playing, I think, it's sad, but at the end of the day, that's not a really bad line at all. I actually kind of dig that line a lot. And
it gets worse.
I'm excited to see what they can do, but pretty much only them as a line.
Yeah. We might toss up on the second line a bit here. And it's going to really depend on one position, where I have Casey Middlestat at the left wing, Zaka at the center, and Victor Arvidsson on the right wing. So I specifically mentioned Middlestat and Zaka at their respective positions because I feel like you might see those interchanged. Mm-hmm. But I see Zaka more as a center, not a left winger. And I see Middlestat more as a left winger. Now, does that mean that they could be interchanged during the season? Yes, but I feel like those three will stick together for the majority unless a player really outshines the others.
Yeah, I mean, but who knows? They might. I mean, in reality, I'm just trying to base myself in reality here. For that second line, they might just throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. And I mean, that's kind of
basically their middle six. Their middle six is where that's going to be.
Yeah, and you're going to see those lines getting jumbled up a lot this year. So, fans don't get
frustrated with that.
Yeah, and don't get the flashbacks of Jim Montgomery doing that. I feel like this is kind of what needs to be done because we kind of really don't know necessarily what works and what doesn't work. So there's going to be a good bit of time where that needs to be tested out.
The third line. Ugh.
This is I
was mentioning his name. It's not fair to Tanner. Tanner, from what I understand, is a really great and outstanding guy. It's no offense to you, Tanner. You're an NHLer, I believe that, but at the same time, it's just like, I'm sorry, it's just the money in the term, and just at the current state of the team.
And
maybe any other year, he would be on. Well, maybe any other year he would be a fourth liner on our team, and I'd be okay with that. But it's a little painful. So no offense to you, Tanner.
A little bit. It's no offense to you, like as a person. It's more the fact that I genuinely feel that your contract was no. Your contract was too long for my for me, and the amount of money you were making for what isn't what.
Not even the money; it's the length.
It's the length, and it's a little bit
of
the
length and the NTC that was coupled with it. That's really it.
You know what? You keep bringing that damn NTC up, and it makes me pissed off every single time. So you know what? I'm not sorry. It's just I'm not sorry sometimes. And you know what? You can be an outstanding human being, but also the business deal that on your end,
I'm
hey,
clipping that.
Congratulations, and I'm actually happy for you that you got paid. But it's not going to be at my expense of spending $100+ at a ticket to go watch you play maybe a couple times a game.
Yep.
And that's not, again,
I'll pay $50 to watch you beat the fuck out of somebody, but that's about it.
Listen, if I had the money, I'd pay you $1,000 a game not to play. If I'm being really honest with you, and that's not a lot of money, obviously, but it's the fact of the matter is just you're a fourth liner to me, and the fact that you even have him
It'll be enough for his fines.
Yeah, we'll see. That's TBD. But for me, I really don't like. I don't see.
I feel bad. We can't keep shitting on this guy. We haven't even mentioned the rest of the line. So
we have to be better than this, and that's okay. But again, he's not a third. He's not a third liner, guys. He's not a third liner.
Sorry, Tater, but we're not sorry. Anyway, you're on the third line left wing. Thank you, Bruins fans, for bearing with us as we still mentally process the fact that we spent. But I'm not even bringing it up. I'm done.
Yeah, we're done.
And then I'm gonna have Fraser. I'm gonna have Fraser Minton. This is where actually, this is where it's gonna get interesting for me. I have Fraser Minton at center, but I can see where Potter can also be the center there, and Minton can also split time on the wing.
Yeah.
I also have Potter and Lysell splitting time on the third line. I think it's time that we show investment in Lysell. He did have a goal. Hopefully he can grow into something. And some people are wondering about Marat Husnudinov. That is where I'm gonna have him splitting time with Acimont on the fourth line. And I also have Corrali and Kostelic on the fourth line. That's just to be honest with you, Bruins fans, that's your identity line right there. That is a big piece. That's a big, mean fucking line.
Yeah.
It might not score a lot of goals, but it's going to shut down some shit.
Yeah, see, this is where me and you are probably going to disagree. I mean,
tell me you have Corrali on the third line, I'll smack you.
I do have Corrali on the third line.
You fucking loser.
I don't want to be that guy, but you know what? With the state of this team right now, he's been a Bruin. He kind of knows what the identity of this team is. And if he's going to get the third line minutes, I kind of want him to be out there to just.
He better earn them.
He better earn them. Oh, listen, you got to earn everything.
Holy shit, you have Corrali on the third line?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have Wayne Gretzky starting on opening night for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, me too. I mean, his name's Brad Marchand. Who's your daddy?
Yeah, the rat.
I mean, it's just, again, I think a lot of people give him the hate, but I didn't think he was terrible when he played for the Bruins. I think he's just he's kind of that old school piece that we don't really need. But at the same time, I think if Corrali kind of does what he does and kind of like gets in the mix of things, like it could potentially lead to something decent. Again, our hopes for this team are very low. So I'm willing to throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. I mean, I just make it.
But I also see the point that you could be getting at, because if you put Minton on the fourth line, you surround him with Acimont and Kostelic. Okay, so that they'll create space for him. And I see your point with Corrali and Jeannot, and then if maybe you put a Potter or a Lysell with them. Okay, they'll create space for those youthful players.
Yeah,
maybe. So I still think your fourth line, your best bet is Acimont, Corrali, and Kostelic. I think they're just big. I don't think Corrali, if he spends time on the third line, I don't think it's going to be long. But I can see where you're coming from.
And I kind of don't want the fourth line just to be all big. I kind of want to spread out that size a little bit as well.
That's where I think Marat Husnudinov will like split time with Acimont.
Yeah.
Or even Corrali. Because like you're gonna think these are the guys that are not making $3+ million, so they're easy to sit. They're easy to bench.
You know what I'm really hoping for this season? Potter to get some time on the second line.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm hoping. I'm not going to say
I just want to see it.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I just want to see. Just experiment with it. Give me a taste. Just give me a little bit of a taste. Like you have a playmaker in Patra, or a quality two-way, a hybrid two-way forward playmaker in Patra. You have a guy in Arvidsson who's known for shooting the puck and ripping it. And then you can figure out what you want to do with Middlestat and Zacha if you want to spread out that talent too and put Middlestat on the third line. I think Zacha is more best served as a top six forward, not a middle six forward. So
I agree.
The only one I wouldn't. So I would see that. So yeah, but this is like if I was this is just basing what I would expect to see on opening night, and how the season goes is how the season goes. This is just my prediction of what I see happening opening night, ladies and gentlemen. So that's also why we're kind of theorizing here a little bit too. Let's go to the defense.
Yeah.
Lindholm, McAvoy.
I mean, it's obvious, right? That's going to be your. That I think it's almost too obvious that that's going to be your number one pair, right? It kind of has.
You don't need to say much on it. I think that's what it needs to be too. Zadorov, Jokester. And I'm sorry, like Yogi Haru. I took that name from one of my friends who is a Buffalo Sabres fan. They called him Jokester. So, again, I thought Yogi Haru was one of the best things that ever happened to Zadorov, because the second the Bruins acquired him, Zadorov started playing like a top pair defenseman. Yep. So, I would like to see them continue based on that.
Well, I think that pair matches up.
It's balanced.
It's balanced for what you're kind of looking for.
Yeah, it takes less offensive responsibility from Zadorov. It puts it on Yoki Haru, and then Zadorov can focus on his game. And then obviously the last pairing being Low-Rye Peak. Again, I could see Low-Rye getting elevated. I can definitely see it.
I can definitely see it, especially the way that he's played. You know, I think he has that potential to be, a top four defenseman.
But he's not someone I'm willing to, because he plays on the left side. I don't want him playing with McAvoy, because I would much rather McAvoy be activated offensively as opposed to defensively. Because when McAvoy gets involved in the offense, that's when the Bruins play their best game. And the same thing with Low-Rye. If you have a guy like Low-Rye on your third pair, like right now, especially with this, coupling with Peak, I think you have a better shot, and you have a better, there's nothing wrong with the Bruins defense, I don't think.
I mean, I'm not worried about the defense as much as I am, looking back at the season, we've had a few games that were like, wow, we let in this many goals. How the hell did that happen? But at the same time, it's very clear that the offense had too many breakdowns, which caused odd man rushes and, just certain things that make defensemen want to cry themselves to sleep at night. And you can't always blame the defenseman. You can't always blame the goalie. You win as a team, you lose as a team. And, when you have a breakdown here, there, and everywhere, it's really just kind of like, damn, everyone's at fault. And I think I have high hopes for Low-Rye this year. I really do. I do. And I'm excited to see him play this year.
Yeah. And then goaltending. that's easy.
I mean,
I actually, you want to know what? Let's have a hot topic. Swayman's the starter. Anyone saying otherwise is stupid.
Well, also, you just paid him how much money for how long?
Yeah.
What you're going to bench him? Like, it's just so stupid. You paid a guy you paid him a handsome, king's ransom, and you gave him so many years. You're stuck with him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're stuck with him. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not necessarily in love with it either. But at the same time, it's who you got, and you play who you got. That's just what it is.
Let's have a little fun with this one. Michael DiPietro. Do you think he makes it? I have Corpy, mind you. So I do have Korpisalo backing up Swayman. What about DiPietro? What do you think about that one?
Goose, I was told once in my life, anything is possible if you just believe.
Oh God, here we go.
It's, and I'm not trying to take away from any of these three goalies, right? But
Of course.
let's say Swayman has kind of a bad start, and he gets into a kind of a slump. I mean, you might be at this point the coach might just be like, fuck it, let's throw him out there, let's throw Corp out there, like let's see let's try to light a fire under this kid's ass. You know what I mean? They might healthy scratch him, give him a couple days, and you might see Corp start a couple games. And I mean, he's obviously the backup, so he's going to be worked in, right? I don't think that Corp is not going to be the backup, in my unprofessional opinion. But at the same time, it's just anything's possible, especially if you're not playing right, and you might need to be a healthy scratch for a couple days. So he might get back up Corp for a game or two, or he might just if Corp needs does something in practice and tweaks himself or whatever, he might get bumped up there. But that's why you have your third goalie. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be, if the Bruins are looking at 7th in the Atlantic, I wouldn't be surprised if he does play 3 games in the pros. I mean, just to give him a taste of that game and kind of help his development.
Here's the thing, and why I asked that. He is not waivers exempt. So if they were to call him up and then push him, to my belief, he is not waivers exempt, which means if they called him up to play during the regular season, if they were to send him back down, someone could claim him. So is that a risk you are willing to take?
I mean, you got Sway for what, 7 more seasons? And you just got to hope that he's the guy that showed up not last season, but the season before. And I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if it's a risk I'm willing to take, but also, I mean, shit, something needs to happen. Like what can we do? Like I mean, I really don't have an opinion on this. It's just, again, my idea for the goalies is Sway and Corp. And I think he'll just be where he is, especially right now. But I mean, at what point do you weigh the risk and reward of goaltending, right? Especially with what we're projecting as a 7th in the Atlantic team. You know what I mean? Like what if you're Don Sweeney, what are you doing?
Right.
And I think that's kind of like, I'm going to be fair here and be, more than fair. I think that puts Don Sweeney in more of a rock and a hard place than he needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially with the team that we're projecting as 7th, is just why burden yourself with that stuff? Because who knows? Maybe he does show something, and you send him back down, and oh no, someone claims him, right? Like what is, I don't think there is a right answer, and I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer, but there is clearly a wrong answer.
Right.
Like it's so tough to say, and like, you're in an impossible position with that one.
Yeah. I just wanted your thoughts on that to see like if maybe you you thought he could have a game, a chance. But who knows?
There's always a chance, right? I mean, it's hockey. There's always a chance. It's not over till it's over, but it's just, why take the unnecessary risk of losing him when, you know what, if he's showing real potential and real skill and you're in the position that you're in, it might just be better to trade him. And that way he kind of gets what he wants to play in the pros, especially with the team. I mean, we'll go back to Detroit. You got Peter Mrazek. I mean, it's like there's teams out there that absolutely need goaltending. And I think the right move is to probably, sell high, with the hype and try to get something out of it. I mean, even if it's a pick, I'm not saying. Well, what do you think is a reasonable pick for him? 4th? Especially to a desperate
for an
team.
unproven player. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you're not going to get much.
You're not going to get much, and I think 4th is reasonable, especially with, I'd say high end for, like a top 15 pick in the 4th round, right? I mean, especially if and I think again the circumstances need to be right, right? You know what I mean? Like they need to be going to a team that desperately needs at least a backup goalie to take some of the strain off of their starter.
Right.
And they might be willing to take a risk on something. So I'm not saying that like, oh, let's go trade it to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, but
right,
make it worth your while and kind of take advantage of other people's needs to fill some of your needs.
Right.
What are you doing in this situation?
I'm not trading him, but this is just a fun thing. Like, what do you do with DiPietro? Right. So it was just one thing I was just curious on. I thought I would just ask you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's that. All right, guys. That is going to do it. Those are our roster predictions. Those are our season thoughts where we're going to finish, where we think the Bruins are going to finish. Let us know if you think we're crazy. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. I don't know. Leave a comment. Email us. We love
breakout player. Breakout player.
Oh, breakout player. Holy crap. How did I forget about that? Mine's Patra. I'm just going to go out and say it. Mine's Patra.
I agree. I think this kid has a lot of potential. And you know what? He's killing it down the AHL. He obviously plays like a top 6 forward. And I'm just hoping that he's very successful in the NHL, and the coaching staff and Sweeney realize it and try to make something work around it. And I have high hopes for this kid this season, especially you said it was a contract year for this kid. Hey, make him pay. Go out there and be a stud and get that contract and do what you need to do, especially to a team that where they're clearly looking to the future and they're clearly trying to figure out, okay, who we're going to keep, who are we going to dish out, and to make this team and this roster a contending team. And hey, man, the ball's in your court, and go do something with it. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. He has a big opportunity on his hands, and if he does well, it could really set his future up.
I agree, man. I agree.
No, yeah.
All right.
And
before we actually close out, is there anything else I'm forgetting? Because it's been a long day, dude.
It's been a long day, and
I'm glad you're here keeping me straight, brother. Otherwise, I'd be a hot fucking mess. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it.
That's it.
We're glad that you guys, came in to listen to all of our crazy thoughts and hear us hate on not only Buffalo Sabres but Tanner. Sorry, Tanner, not sorry. But we will be back probably next week with another episode for you guys. And until then, go Bruins.
Go Bruins.